Forget the word entrepreneurship. Never mention it again. You should not go for entrepreneurship. Going for entrepreneurship means nothing. Well, I can tell you now that my biggest customers are ladies, right? And they are more serious. Yeah, they're not crying too much for the price. Please reduce the price, right? No, they're very, very serious and very, very fair and very successful. Well, I think that in some particular segments, women have much bigger potential than us men.
If you're enjoying the content, go ahead and click the like button because we like to know that the content brings value to you.
If you want more tips, stories, and real talks like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification button. That way, we will always be the first who will know that a new episode just dropped.
We really appreciate you being here. Let's keep learning and growing together.
Hello, guys. It's a beautiful day to be alive. In today's episode of Make Tech Work, we have an amazing guest, a brilliant mind, somebody who taught me a lot in life, one of my dearest professors, an amazing serial entrepreneur, Mr. Badre Bouarich. Badre, how are we doing today?
I'm great, Mo. How you doing? As I was telling you, pretty tanned, huh?
Always, you know me, man. Always
This-
running.
Yeah, no, always on the beach. That's great.
Oh,
great,
God.
great to be with you guys. Very happy and glad to be here.
We're so happy to have you. And just a quick introduction for our audience out there in the marketplace. Give us a little bit about your background, your experience, so our audience can relate and understand exactly how amazing your mind and your creativity is.
Okay, sure. I'm gonna try to not be too long on this, right? Because sometimes I was talking about it. So basically, I lived all my life in Meknes, Morocco. As a teenager, and when I was young, I was a tennis player, and I wanted to pursue a career in sports, in professional sports and tennis. So high school, I did distance learning because distance learning enabled me to adapt studies to sport rather than the opposite, right? So I did that in high school. And after high school, I stopped studies for 2 years, played professional sport tennis, got ATP ranking. But for some reasons decided to get back to studies and get back to Morocco, right? Getting back to basics. And this is a pattern that you'll see later on that will happen again. So got back here, got to Akhawa University, where I did my Bachelor of Business Administration. That one was a great place, very close to where I live, amazing working conditions, studying conditions at that time. Great experience. And then, when I got my bachelor, did a master in finance. At the time, I'm going to tell you this funny story. I didn't want to do a master in finance. I wanted to do a master in marketing, I
Wow.
love, ideas and stuff. But the master was around $30,000 or so. And the parents say, look, marketing, you got it, but you need to learn something specific, right? You need to learn, a job. While when it comes to marketing, of course, it can be formalized, but it's something that you can do later on or you can train for. So I went for the master in finance. And in the middle of the financial crisis, I got a job at HSBC markets, global markets. It was crazy process. Yeah. More than 5,000 or 10,000 applicants. And that process alone was there are so many stories I could tell you about it. But again, I promise to make this brief, so I'm not going to dig too much into the details of that. HSBC Global Markets, I worked multi-asset structuring in Dubai, all right, where you are now, at Emar Square.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
I was there between 2011 and 2013, and so that was already 12 years ago. Time really flies.
Goes fast.
I've lost all
Yeah.
my hair and So 2013 got back to Morocco and started social network called Toganit. Toganit standing for Together Enjoy It. When I was in Dubai and in investment banking, I was feeling quite lonely most of the time. You have very long working hours and you want to do activities, but you are most of the time alone. So the purpose of that platform was to get people around. Yeah. So you want to play tennis, you can find people that want to do the same thing at the same time and you can meet with them and enjoy that activity together. So yeah, I launched that platform, and we needed to monetize because it's great to have people do activities, but you need to make some money. So I turned it into a ticketing platform, keeping the features and allowing event organizers to sell tickets and making my cut from those tickets. And I heard, Steve, you are in Canada, right? In Quebec. So I had a team in Montreal and we organized many events for HEC Montréal.
Okay.
And I even organized one event for McGill, with the Student Union of McGill University. So, things were developing and the proof of concept was made, and we had made some money, but of course, it was not profitable yet. But I had been on this for 2 years. I had eaten almost all my savings. At the time, there were not so many investors in this field. So I had to get back to reality. And that's where I got a job at Al University. We are January 2015. And, slowly, yeah, kind of talking it, went down. I had to cut my losses. But around 6 to 9 months down the line, it was September. I was just laying around, and I get a friend of mine who calls me. That friend of mine is in Russia. He's not Russia, in Latvia.
Mm.
He's a marketer, and he said, Badre, what's going on? Say, look, I have a list of 100 women. They want to lose weight. I have launched an advertising campaign, but I have no product. Can you please check if these are if these are legit clients? So I said,
Wow.
okay, it's no problem. So I called them, and they were really legit clients. And then he goes, well, see, if they're legit, we need to create offers because there is a market there. There is a massive demand for supplements. There is no real offer for now in Morocco when it comes to the supplements. So you need to do something about it. I say, sure, no problem. So I think within 1 week, I had an offer that was up and running. And that was the beginning of my e-commerce adventure, which lasted for around 5 years, between 2015 and 2020. And that is where I kind of decided to go upstream from marketing to production, producing
Mhm.
supplements. So for the last 5 years, I have been owning and running a state authorized supplement facility in Marrakech to vitamins, minerals. We got many e-commerce entrepreneurs for whom we produce. Some of our products are sold into pharmacies, uh, para-pharmacies. I know Steve is not gonna. You have para-pharmacies in Canada, Steve? I don't
We
think so.
have pharmacies.
Pharmacies, okay. Para-pharmacies is the little cousin of pharmacies.
Ah, no, we don't have those.
These are shops that also that cannot sell like drugs, but that sell
Mm.
products that are somewhat related to pharmacies.
Supplements, nutraceutical, and
Exactly.
that type of
Right.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Cosmetics too. Yeah, yeah. So that's I think this give you a little idea about my path so far.
So based on
Wow.
what you described, Badar, I see that the entrepreneurial mindset was always present, even if when you were at the bank, I believe, because you went kind of very risky in terms of what you did in Dubai and what you're trying and tried again. And just the fact that you could have stayed only with selling supplements in the e-commerce and you wanted to go and be the producer of those, which obviously has more reach, better reach, but you were taking more and more risk. So how come you decided to go from e-commerce only to let's produce these things? Because
Very good.
it's different
Very
thing.
good.
You go from the digital world, kind of, with
Yeah,
shipping, drop shipping,
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
produce. So you need, because I had a manufacturing company before in the digital X-ray business, so I know exactly what it is. It's a different thing than being only a
Totally
consultant
different.
or selling courses or selling
Totally different. Totally different.
gears on the web. So how come
Mhm.
you came to this idea of doing it? And
To-
you did it.
yeah,
Execution is
yeah.
key.
Totally different. I will tell you, summarize by saying it was market forces. The market pushed me to do it. It was
Mm.
not like I was, just sitting and thinking, oh, let's do this. No, it was market need for various reasons. First reason, when you are an online e-commerce entrepreneur, you depend a lot on Facebook advertising accounts. So you are at this level, suddenly there is some kind of issue with your advertising account, and you know that the Nutra industry is kind of grayish, right? From an advertising perspective.
Mhm.
So you go from this level, not to this. From this, you go to zero, and you have to adapt your workforce, your employees. You have no visibility. So there's a lot of lack of stability when you
Mm-hmm.
are an e-commerce Nutra entrepreneur. So that was the first thing. The second thing is related to the fact that my supplier was no longer reliable. All right.
Ah.
He had
Mhm.
shortages, other issues. So I started thinking, oh, you know what? I might have to do this myself. I have no other choice, and there is no way I'm letting this pie go away.
Uh-huh.
No matter what it takes, I'll do it. And that it was during the COVID crisis. The potential was enormous. So, zinc and vitamin C vitamin and zinc, you had crazy sales in Morocco at the time. So, I just got into it. Of course, when you run a facility, you have what we call the whole quality process. So you have what we call the HACCP team, which is composed of various members, and it all follows quality standards. So I had to train myself into quality in a record time. And that was the main challenge, and I was able to do it. So in 1 month, but I trained really hard. I was almost not sleeping. Uh,
Wow.
of course, my previous experiences helped me a lot, a lot. When you have been in investment banking, working 14, 15 hours a day, then lecturing finance, and most of the time I had been out of my comfort zone, and that's the key. When you're used to be out of your comfort zone, nothing is gonna ever scare you. Yeah.
Mm.
Uh, Maybe also adding to it the fact that my parents are doctors, so I was always very close to this environment, talking biology, etc. I guess all these things helped me, quickly adapt and be able to answer the market need. As soon as the facility was up and ready, we were also able to, sell zinc, C vitamin, and get our share of, and well, get our share, or maybe the right wording is say, provide for the market need at the time, which was again COVID crisis, mainly zinc and C vitamin.
It's interesting that the market forces forced you to do vertical integration, which could be a strategic move when it's thinking. But most of the time in business, this is what happens. I mean, you get in uncomfortable and you need to adapt, as you well said. You need to find solutions. You need to look at different things, and you need to become somebody else or become an expert in something that you were not, as you did. So I think we should invite you to a podcast about in comfort and mindset and all these things because
I'll
I
be
think
very
for
happy.
the entrepreneurs watching or listening to this is exactly how it is. And I mean, in my case, in this business, we had to do Santé Canada and FDA approval for Canada and US respectively. And it took a long, long time. And while you do that, you're burning cash, you're burning
Of
time.
course, of
We
course.
had other work to complete to finalize the product, but the product has to be well advanced if you want to present it. In that case, it was like a digital camera, it's more tangible stuff
Yeah.
with a lot of parts. But I know pretty much what it is, and that's very interesting. It's always good to talk about entrepreneurs who lived it. So vertical integration by market forces. Yeah, I'm curious about because we are a bit into that with this podcast.
Yeah.
You say Facebook went from like good to zero. Is it because Meta changed the rules or because another competitor came in with a better ad? So can you tell us
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
little bit
sure.
about
Sure,
what
sure,
happened
sure,
exactly that made
sure,
you that
sure,
switch?
sure, sure. First, let's try to understand why nutraceuticals and supplements are successful on internet.
Mhm.
Because we humans have various needs, right? And health is among our priorities. But drugs and health products are not sold online. So what is the closest type of products to drugs that we can find online? Supplements, right? And that's why they are very successful, okay? Because drugs are not there, and you got something that is natural, that helps your body, and humans have this need. Now, when it comes to the marketing of supplements, it can be very, very tricky. Shouldn't
Mm.
say, shouldn't have crazy claims, shouldn't say this and that and that, and the rules are not always very clear, and sometimes it's really subjective, right? Whether in terms of picture or in terms of wording. And no matter how skilled you are, you will always eventually get a bot to review your ads and say your ads are not compliant, no matter how much effort you make to have them be compliant. So when the decision is made by the bot, most of the time, Facebook bot, Meta bot, to stop the advertising account, what usually happens is that your activity goes to zero. You had sales of this much, and suddenly, day after, nothing, right? It's not like a
Wow.
business where you can adjust or adapt, etc. So that's why I was saying that it goes from everything. You're very happy. You're scaling. Everything looks bright. You're thinking about the next 6 months. You're gonna go to Hawaii, whatever. And one day later, your accounts are
Wow.
closed, and your employees are looking around. What are we supposed to do? Well, you can't do much. You can ask for a review, and and hope for the best. So yeah, that was the first element, getting me to the conclusion that this is not really sustainable in the long run. You can't build a pyramid out of this. And when supplier not being reliable kicked in. Now, when I had that second element, I could kind of cope up with one element, right?
Mm.
But when the second element of instability appeared, well, I had to do something and to make a move. I remember I had a supplier in Casablanca. There was a shortage of capsules in Morocco, and I had to contact his supplier to buy capsules for him. So I thought, guess what? I'm
Wow.
doing his job.
Wow. Wow.
So I
Wow.
better just become my own supplier and do the job for myself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, launching the production facility from a financial perspective was made easier for me. Why? Because I had a sales business, right? So just by producing my own supplements, I was saving enough to cover all the monthly expenses related to running a facility. So
Mm.
it was a self-sustainable business. So the decision was easy. It's not like when you do not have a market and want to start a business, but with no bottom line, no existing market. The risk is usually bigger there.
Yeah, yeah. Your vertical integration was in the right way, and when you're close to the customer, this is where you can get the best margins. And you have a tribe, you have people, you have followers. Not the same. I mean, you have a bunch of customers who are repetitive customers because the supplements that I'm buying pretty much always the same. When I select one, I stick with it. If I'm
Mhm.
buying a different supplement, I'm looking at the same company as well because I trust the company. So there is a trust transfer from one supplement to another. And once you get those, it takes time to get those. And once you get them, I'm sure you have a lot of repetitive customers right now. I don't know how much. Maybe I don't know if you know. Do you know, Badr, how much? What is your churn rate or people are like repetitive customers? Do
Well,
you have that stats?
at the time, it should have been around 20 to 30%. As of today, we are 95% of our business is into production.
Mm.
So I have slowed down a lot on advertising budget and advertising costs because this is
Yes.
I found production to be much stabler. With but we have a lot of loyalty from our customers now. There's entrepreneurs who produce at our facility. We keep 95% of them, and the reason why is because I was myself an e-commerce entrepreneur, so I know their needs. I know they need
Mm.
you to be 100% reliable. You need to be very fast, not too much bureaucracy, blah blah. So I run most of my business with WhatsApp. Yeah,
Wow.
and I have this proximity with all of them, answering very quickly, advising them because I have been through their experience long ago, so I know the pitfalls, I know the mistakes they will make. So I've been not just providing a product, but also providing a service. And in this industry, service and advice is highly appreciated and has strong value.
Did you or do you diversify the sizes of your customers in terms of selling numbers and also in the markets they are in? So,
Well,
because now you have the opportunity of being able to do that. You can have people in sports, people more in health, people more in holistic
Mm.
approach with
yeah,
different sizes of businesses and different, because you don't want to have 80% of your sales, one big customer who is to make you rich, but it can make you poor the next day. So what
that's
is your strategy for around that?
That's that's very much true. As a matter of fact, right now we got, I would say, three customers which are by far ahead of the curve. One
Mhm.
that is number one, but my business is running even without that customer. I mean, that customer was cherry over the pie. But overall, we have more than 20 or 30 customers producing at our facility. And we have also our own products, which are registered Ministry of Health and sold in pharmacies with a distribution company. And we still have a little bit of online presence. So
Mm.
we are diversified. I'm try to diversify basically across sales channels, but also within my portfolio of e-commerce entrepreneurs. And the point you're mentioning is totally valid because you don't want to depend on one person. Otherwise, you just go back to e-commerce and depend on an advertising account. And when it comes to verticals, to be very frank, we try to answer customers' needs. However, what we try to do is not to have overlapping when it comes to formulas, especially for entrepreneurs that sell particular size. So basically, you sell this number. Okay, your formula is going to be for you. I'm not going to be giving it to anyone else as long as you are at this level, because I don't want the customers to have two products which have the same formula from the same laboratory. One is kind of jeopardizing the other. And then they would start a kind of pricing war, maybe, which would, it's not value generating. And this is something very important because when you're an e-commerce entrepreneur and you're successful, you don't want someone to come and copy your formula and have the same lab and, compete and maybe reduce the prices. It's not so fair. So this is an issue that we have encountered many times, and but I have dealt in this way. And sometimes it happened to me to even not onboard customers because they would insist on a particular formula, and I would say, no, sorry, I cannot give you that formula. I say, but no, you're a lab. You can't. No. I'm a lab, but I have my own values and my own way of working. So yeah, that's problematic. That is there big time.
Wow. Interesting. Maybe I can chime in with a quick question, Mr. Badr, and I'm so happy that you're here providing some amazing insights. So grateful to have you part of the episode today. I am an entrepreneur myself, and I know so many people who are entrepreneurs. I noticed that we're always coming back to entrepreneurship. No matter what happens, it's always something there is a fire in you. What are some of the lessons that you can share with our audience members who are thinking about entrepreneurship, but they have a little bit of resistance? What are some of the lessons or patterns that you learned as a logical, pragmatic individual that you can share with entrepreneurs who are currently hesitant to take the leap forward?
Well, I'll give you the key. Forget the word entrepreneurship. Never mention it again. You should not go for entrepreneurship. Going for entrepreneurship means nothing. You have to find a problem, identify a problem, and solve and look for the solution. Okay? That's how you're going to succeed. Market forces, 100% you're going to succeed. If you just go for entrepreneurship because it's trendy, because it's fashion, because you want to impress people, you're not going to do anything and you're going to waste your time and your money and it's not going to work out. So you have to identify a problem and seek to solve it. Now, how are you going to identify problems? Well, by doing things, right? By doing things, by getting involved, by asking around, by asking questions. Never take things for granted. If you take things for granted, then you're never gonna have critical thinking, right? So you should always question things, question processes, yeah? And by questioning processes, you will find inefficiencies. And then you'll think, oh, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do that. Being an entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur, is not about reinventing the wheel. Some people think, I have to innovate like crazy and come up with some innovation. Not necessarily. You just have to provide something efficiently, provide it right, and then improve it step by step. I know that there are many universities teaching innovation, entrepreneurship innovation to graduates or undergrads. I don't think that's a good thing. Entrepreneurship is like school. You have, you start in kindergarten and you grow and you grow and you grow. When you have a groundbreaking innovation, you need to change habits. You need to invest a lot of money. All right. You need to know the market. When you're just starting as an entrepreneur, you have no money, you have no salary, you have no resources, you don't know the market because you haven't started yet. So how come you want to change the market where you are not present? Okay. And that is why it's important to be humble when you start your entrepreneurship journey. Being humble, starting simple. Eventually, you will change the world, but not by day one. All right? By day one, you need to find a concept, to make it work, to grow, to provide for yourself, provide for your family, understand your market, understand your customers, hopefully make some savings, and then you can slowly by slowly improve the product and innovate. That is at least my humble view on the matter.
I think it's right. It's the most common thing. It's a word. I don't know if I'm repeating the right word, but being entrepreneur is like a problematologist, somebody who can see problems and see solutions and find ways to incrementally improve things, not necessarily like doing like 3 steps above with zillions dollars of money. We see, I mean, it's not the majority of the successful entrepreneurs adventures that are like that. No, we're not all Elon Musk or
Totally.
with the billions of dollars in our back pockets. No, you're right. I think this is a very realistic view of entrepreneurship instead of dreaming. So
Yeah.
it's a dream, but the dream will come after many steps. It's a journey. This is
Totally.
yeah, this is a journey. This is not like an event thing, like
Totally.
people are believing. Oh, I'm gonna get something viral. I'm gonna jump and everybody will look. So um, myself, I'm trying different things, and I'm looking at what sticks, what works, what I like, and what can be more, I would say, repeatable in an easy way with lower costs and the biggest numbers. But it needs to respond and answer to a question, a problem, and create value to the audience. That's the way to
Totally.
do it. With supplements are a real value, as you well explained, with the human nature and the what's missing, what's just below the drugs, but available and safe and useful.
The next question that I would love to ask you, Mr. Badr, is about drop shippers currently. This is a market that you have a lot of experience in. I know a lot of drop shippers are using Chinese manufacturers as a place to get goods and services, and then they sell those to the US. So there is a tariffs that are going to affect these goods and services. What do you think will happen, and what is any perhaps advice that you could give to these people who are dependent on US for supply chain and for production, etc.?
Well, thanks more for the question. If you're referring to drop shippers buying products from China and selling in the US, right? So with the implementation of tariffs, their products are going to be way more expensive in the US. It's going to be quite problematic. Especially that when you think about the elasticity of demand, what are the kind of products that are drop shippers selling? Are these essential products or are these kind of switchable products? Most of them, I would say, are not necessarily so essential, right? So it is to bet that their activity will go down. That's a fact. Market force element. You can't do anything about it. You can adapt. You can try to sell elsewhere, look for other geographies, or maybe look for US suppliers, right? Now, or maybe partner with US suppliers, not just buy from them. It might be too expensive, too risky, whatever. Maybe partner with US suppliers. This could be a possibility and an edge. But again, all this is a bit too early to consider because we don't know if this tariff thing is going to go through or if it's going to get removed, right? I think this whole thing starts as a bluff, but the thing is that when you bluff, people should not know that you bluff for the bluff to be efficient.
Let's go, Rada, let's go.
If you're a bluffer and people already know your game, it doesn't really work out. And I think that's the problem with the announcements of Donald Trump.
And it goes with the credibility of the person bluffing as well.
Exactly.
But also on that front, without getting too long, when the high profile individual in a great position says something, it influences like the overall market. And with the strength that it has been done, for sure it affects and people are reacting. But I think the biggest concern for me is the uncertainty. I mean, I don't think that all those crazy things are going to pass, but in between, yeah, two things. People who believe that, okay, it won't be that dramatic when it happens, if it happens. And people say, oh, it is dramatic. Everything is falling apart. We need to do something. And they panic and they react. And because of their reactions, the people who believe it's going to be fixed need to react to those reactions because usually the majority is panicking. So the other people, we need to adapt and adapt to it. So at the end of the day, there is an impact, whatever it goes as a rule, as a law, as whatever the format. So again, this is my vision of this. I'm not a politician, but this is more a psychological approach or understanding of the situation. So what's your take on that, knowing that you are dealing in different parts of the world?
No, I mean, totally right. Because value is a function of two elements. It's a function of cash flow and it's a function of risk. So you could have two assets generating the same cash flow in two parts of the world. but one asset, the less risky one, would have a much, much bigger value than the risky asset. Because again, the answer, so risk by itself can destruct value. And we saw that what happened with the S&P 500, with
Mm-hmm.
equities some 2 weeks ago, before Donald Trump retracted on the announcement. So the uncertainty, uh, the implied volatility of a market destructs is has the capacity to destruct value. And that is why, of course, when you are a high level authority, you have to, as we say, turn your tongue in your mouth 7 times before before say before before saying
Yeah.
things, right? Well, of course, not in this podcast. We can say whatever we want, but you can't run the
Yeah.
country like you are having a podcast with Mo and Steve, right?
We don't have a million of people watching as of now, so we can be
We can be flexible.
free speech.
But you know when it comes really seriously, when it comes to China, I think China has been doing great. We're talking about me having my own facility, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to have a
Mm-hmm.
facility, you need machines. So when looking for machines in my field, I found machines in North America and in Italy. Price were crazily high.
Oh.
While Chinese machinery provide very good quality. And when we say China, of course, there is China and China. Huh? There is China low quality, but there is China very good quality with very
Mm.
decent price. So if these companies were not providing that, I would have never started as an entrepreneur. No, not as an entrepreneur. I would have been just a marketer. I would have never really produced. And the same that applies to me, I'm sure applies to tens, hundreds, thousands of entrepreneurs, especially in emerging markets. So
Mm-hmm.
China has enabled many entrepreneurs, right, to start producing. And of course, you need to get started and then you can profit and you can grow. But if you don't start, well, no value gets created. So I think China played a big role in supporting small industry for emerging markets and emerging country. I also think that the relationship. I mean, U.S. and China should be best friends because their economy is very complementary. China producing at a low cost, enabling American companies to be very competitive domestically and abroad. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
USA was a company, America LLC, the supplier would be China.
Mm-hmm.
Customer would be internal and the rest of the world. So if China is your supplier, of course you're going to have a trade deficit. You're not going to have a trade surplus with your supplier. But the reason you have a deficit is because that you're using that deficit to generate value elsewhere. So again, I think this tariff thing is going to get solved because market forces are stronger than politicians' wills or needs or whatever. I mean, even the decision to cut tariffs was the result of the markets going down. So ultimately, politicians they have to listen and they will listen to markets. And well, at least so I hope.
And talking about countries and I would say relationships between countries and the ones that are very well in trending, I would say. What on your side, Bada, where are you located? Where are you doing businesses? I know you're in Morocco, but do you have any projects and interesting projects locally or nationally? I would say internationally.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for asking. So when it comes to our business, we have most of our customers are in Morocco, and they had
Mm-hmm.
some e-commerce entrepreneurs getting into Africa, right? Selling
Mm.
Ivory Coast and Congo. Um, so in the last years, Moroccan young entrepreneurs, e-commerce entrepreneurs, have been targeting and seeking to deliver value there. They've identified the need. So it's starting. It's not massive, but there is this effort and this starting trend. Another trend that's worth underlying, which is not geography related, but I'm taking the opportunity. 5 years ago, most of my e-commerce entrepreneurs were men, right?
Mm.
Well, I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you now that my biggest customers are ladies, right? And they are more serious. Yeah. They're not crying too much for the price. Please reduce the price, right? No, they're very, very serious and very, very fair and very successful, right? And they're overtaking uh, this supplements industry. This is something very important to underline because we talked about entrepreneurship and I hear people talking about women and entrepreneurship. Well, I think that in some particular segments, women have much bigger potential than us. men, especially in verticals which are very much related, where advertising plays a big role, where image plays a big role. Uh,
Can see it.
so
No, I can see it because you have men that started it because they were able to, let's say, program, do something in WordPress to get a website out on the market and wanted to make money. Now the influencers, the female influencers, I mean, they have nice skins. They are doing yoga, sports, whatever they do. So they are models for other people, and they can sell stuff from that point of view. So that makes total sense. I mean, I'm trying to simplify it because I'm not in your market nor in their market. From what we see on the front, sounds like it could be a very great business for them. Knowing the supplements business a bit, that it's a good business to be in. Them selling that. So, are you doing business with influencers that are? Because I know you're not selling directly now; you're more producing. But are you doing like a B2B2C strategy where you are helping influencers to influence the brand of some sort, or not at all?
well, when it comes to customers, we have various types of customers, right? From all over.
Yeah.
So do we have currently, are we working with influencers running their own brand? Maybe one, yeah. But most of my e-commerce entrepreneurs, they work with influencers to promote, well, first to test their products
Yeah.
and then to promote, if happy about the outcome, because there is something very important, which is the image of influencers. Okay. And that's why it's very important for an influencer to first try the product and be convinced about it before talking about it. Is it always done this way? I wouldn't bet on this. Yeah. You have both. Some would very likely have more credibility, and that's just like in every industry. You have different players. Some players, more prone to marketing and bullshit, right?
Both sides.
Yeah, and others are more serious and diligent and caring about their image. But again, currently, I said 95% of my customers are entrepreneurs, so I don't deal so much with advertising people. You
How
met,
can they find you? But sorry, go ahead.
but I am about to start dealing with marketers in the project that I am currently working on. I think I briefly mentioned it earlier. It's called
Yeah.
Nutrigens. See,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was at home bored, and my wife was like, "Let's watch this documentary, this Netflix documentary about that guy who wants to live forever." I'm not sure about. I don't remember the title. You know that guy who takes
Brian
no.
Johnson.
Yes. And then no, I don't. No, please, let's watch it. And I watched that documentary, right? And well, there was a point where his doctor said something that struck me. Yeah. He said, in the future, it's no longer, we're not going to give our body what we want. We will give our body what it needs.
Wow.
And I found that to be very powerful. Future, not giving the body, no, but what it really needs. So we need to know our body, diagnose our body, and give it the right ingredient in the right quantity. Well, I thought that's very powerful, and that's the future. Might be tomorrow, it might be in 50 years, but there will come a point where we will optimize our food intake based on our real needs. And that's where the idea came of providing customized supplements. And now we are launching Nutrigens with a partner of mine, and we are partnering with US manufacturers. We're starting in the US, called again Nutrigens. And the idea is to have customers take a questionnaire. That's the first step. And later on, we are planning on adding DNA testing and blood testing, and to get them a program that is really based on their needs, deficiencies, and blood sample analysis results. So this is something I'm currently preparing. I'm very excited about it because it has international scale, and it joins the idea of what I told you earlier about entrepreneurship. You start small, starting locally, and then looking for ways to develop, to improve, and to scale, to have greater horizons.
I'm saying with this, knowing the US, knowing how the blood testing and other health companies in the US, because I'm following that for close to 11 years overall, if not more, where, I mean, you can do things in the US that you can't do in Canada, as an example. But I'm seeing processes about how we can semi-automate and automate, I mean, marketing for all these things. Yes, but also how you can get the order, double check this, send a sample, take your blood, follow these steps, upload the results on the web, get on the web, and you get your supplements like very quickly. This is something that I'm really seeing as a business. So, that's interesting. So it's supplements. It's the market is good for that. I think in the US, very, very good. In fact, for the reasons you mentioned, it's very true in this part of the world. And having this process that can scale up crazy. But
Hopefully.
you need to act quick at the same time because VCs can jump in and bring some tens of millions because it's a big business.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I
Definitely.
wish you the best on that. It sounds and seems like, as you said, that's the future. I mean, when you think about AI, I'm thinking about the movies where the person gets into a SaaS, like a big pill-shaped thing, and there is a diagnosis coming in, and boom, that person gets injections, gets supplements, get food, and all these things.
Exactly.
Yes, it's maybe like 50 years for that one, maybe less. But in terms of supplementations and people doing their own thing for themselves, it follows the rules. I mean, that can go big, very big.
Hopefully. Yeah, again, market dynamics and as you said, could be in 50 years, could be before, but it is starting and people are more and more uh, thinking about it, more and more caring about their health and optimizing their food intake. Because again, we live in societies, 200 years ago, agriculture, people were skinny, moving a lot. Nowadays, we move less and less. So we have to take care of our body, uh, be cautious about what we eat. So this is something that's, yeah, this is, again, exciting journey. We'll see how it works. We'll adapt. But this concept is not just going to get applied to supplements. It's going to be applied to everything, even food. You see, you have these companies where you're sitting and you order restaurant, and they bring you your breakfast, lunch, and dinner on a daily basis. You subscribe with them, right? They just do it based on menus. Future part of this, maybe we'll be able to expand into that vertical again, adapting food intake to the diagnostic that was made. That would be again scalable, but hopefully that's a little bit far. Let's get the website ready, kickstart, and then I'm sure you guys are gonna be among my first customers, won't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go. I love it.
So, Mo, you have any final question, final word, or for our guest today?
Perhaps I have a quick question for our guest today. But if you go online, everybody's talking about AI, artificial intelligence. So as a business owner yourself, how do you see AI being used to speed up the process of innovation in different markets around the world?
I see AI being used to speed up the process of innovation. Well, AI is an innovation by itself. Yeah. AI thinks much faster than we will ever think. Yeah. Now, AI is still making some mistakes. It's not yet at the level where we want it to be, but it's eventually going to get there very, very soon. I think it's going to help us identify a lot of trends that we are missing. Yeah. I think AI has very, very big potential when it comes to research because innovation comes from research and research needs data, understanding data, combining data, understanding relationships. And from that end, AI is going to have massive, massive impact. Medicine, for instance, biomedicals, biotechnologies, all of that. AI is going to help a lot, a lot. I mean, I discovered ChatGPT maybe a month ago. I was quite late, but I can tell you, maybe I get to use it 10 or 20, between 10 and 50 times per day. Whenever I have a question, just ask ChatGPT and it is there. So AI is becoming our friend, right? And it's going to be our friend in the future when we have these robots that can walk and that can, do things. Yeah. Maybe AI is the next part of the evolution of the human species to the next step. It is, and it is very polite, by the way.
Yeah, very positive.
Never hear something that you should not. So it's a really good friend, better than some friends I know.
very knowledgeable and always positive. Oh, it's good that you're asking this question. You
Yeah.
are learning very quickly. So, no, it's I'm exchanging about health. I mean, every day with ChatGPT to tweak a few things here and there with sports and everything. So yeah, it's exactly it. So yeah, it's good. I think that the you said like maybe a month ago with ChatGPT, but I'm sure that as with your entrepreneur's mindset and your business, you'll find a lot of ways to use it, take advantage of it, especially with your new venture that will also, because with AI, as you well said, it needs to have data. And with data, you can understand your business more than what we can do as human beings.
Yep.
So this way, for business intelligence purpose, AI
Yep.
is great, great, great for that. So, and fairly easy to use. So
And thank you for mentioning that, because I forgot an important element is that in nutritions, we are preparing also an AI advisor for customers,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
But my partner is in the process of training the AI bot to be specialized about nutrition and specialized about the products that we offer, to be able to interact 24/7 with customers and advise them. So, took us maybe now less than 5 seconds again to identify how AI could help an entrepreneur in my field. And as you said, there are thousands of applications of fields where it can help and it can generate value and sometimes be even more efficient. No, not sometimes. Most of the time is going to be more efficient than us humans, right? But
yeah,
uh, again, then we get to that debate of humans versus robots. Are robots going to overtake? Is it inevitable that robots are going to overtake? Should we be sad about it, or should we embrace it? Is it just nature? I think these are very interesting questions that we'll see.
I'm a very positive person. I don't think it's going to be one or the other. I think it's going to be both. And I don't know in what form and what shape, but it could be that because of the reserves on the planet that are being used faster than ever and not regenerated, I think having a mix of robots and a mix of less humans, perhaps, and it's kind of negative what I'm saying, and you can find the right balance because they don't need food, but they need energy, but there are ways of generating energy. So perhaps there could be a way to balance everything. But again, I'm positive it's only a matter of adaptation, and I think we'll still have the control on these things. But it's interesting because I think this is a topic we should bring a
Yeah,
debate humans versus robots, and
definitely.
also opportunistic approaches for entrepreneurs. It would be
Definitely.
a topic of our
Definitely. Definitely. I
podcast.
mean, you've used an important word, which is control, right? Uh, but are we really in control? Have we ever been in control? That's a philosophical question.
Yeah, but
But
it's like I see it almost, even if it's I see it as again, I don't have the full vision, but it's an ecosystem. So we're adding AI, we're add real by real. We're going to add robots. So I think obviously when a new species roughly enters an ecosystem, there is a lot of turbulences and a lot of adaptations, and eventually it goes back to something stable. But
yeah,
right now, it won't be stable for a while.
definitely, definitely. No, I think that's the right way of putting it and concluding
Good.
the subtopic on.
Is there anything else you'd like to bring to our audience today, Badr?
Well, I think that is pretty much all. You guys are all welcome in Marrakesh, Morocco. Have you ever come to Morocco, Steve?
No, not yet. I've more and more, I would say, interest in getting there and ask Mo to come back when I'm there.
Yeah,
There is a lot of stuff in digital transformation happening as well. There is a big show that just happened in April.
definitely.
And I have like suppliers, collaborators, partners based in Morocco. So yes, maybe a good, nice business and leisure trip at the same time. And I'd like to go in all the touristic areas without too much touristo, but having to see the beauties of Morocco.
I'm sure Mo is gonna love to take you around. Remember, he
Yes.
was my student at Al Khawail. and he used to love traveling, and he was missing his glasses.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I know.
I'm kidding. No, it's a
We'll go for
beautiful
a
country,
run for
lovely
sure.
culture, and lovely people. So you feel safe, a lot of hospitality, nice weather. So you're very much welcome anytime. We'll be very happy to. Maybe you can host a podcast from here, from Marrakesh, Jamal, or something.
Yes.
Why not?
Let's do it.
Yeah, in fact, we could do a lot of those. We could do a lot of those in person. I would love to do that, and eventually, even over here, it's something we could do with more remote, having an invitee, so we can have a mix of different things, and the vice versa, and or do like entirely in Morocco. So yeah, it's in my mind. It's on my to do list for sure.
Sure. So we'll
Thanks for
get
the
you there.
invitation. I'd like to see your business, your production facility, and your people.
Sure, you're very much welcome. Sure, we'll give you the best supplements. Huh?
Yeah, that's perfect. I need
Uh,
magnesium,
the-
omega-3,
no,
zinc.
yeah, no need for D vitamin because the sun has it, right?
That's right.
But we're
Let's
gonna give you
go.
probiotics. You know why? Because mostly women, yeah, you need your body to be able to make the best out of intake, right? So
Yeah,
if your body doesn't digest, if your digestive system is not where it should be and how it should be, your body
Mm.
is not gonna benefit from vitamins and nutrients, and that's why in some countries you find women with D vitamin deficiencies while there is a lot of sun,
yeah, yeah,
and that's a bit
yeah.
counterintuitive.
Absorption is the key. Is the key. If you
Absorption,
eat
all
the
about
wrong things at
absorption.
the same time,
Correct.
it won't be absorbed. So that's a chemical reaction or whatever
Yeah.
the term. So yeah,
And that's why probiotics are very important too.
good, good. So thank you very much, Badr, for all your expertise in different areas and your vision of the world where it's going. And I wish you the best for your actual projects and your future projects over here in North America. And we should reinvite you as in a podcast to talk about it in more details in the near future.
Anytime, guys. Thank you very much for the invite. I
Thank you,
really
brother.
enjoyed the interaction and the talk, and I look forward to meet with you guys again.
Absolutely.
Perhaps see you in
Thank you.
Morocco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Or maybe in Dubai, huh?
Let's
That's
go.
right. You could be in
Come
Dubai.
over.
But now it's summertime and it's really hot there. So we'll wait for December or so.
Hey, bye,
Thank
everybody.
you, guys. Thank you.
Take care.